Good morning to all. Today we are moving to the last topic of this chapter, that is about characteristics of living things. So in the last few classes we were discussing about plants and animals and their adaptive features in different habitats. So today let's discuss about characteristics of living things. So you all know what are living things. So what are living things? Things which grow, need food and air to live are known as living things. Plants, animals, all these are examples for living things. So all living things have certain features. So today we are going to discuss about the characteristics of living things. So characteristics of living things. You can see the different characteristics of living things. Growth, that is living things grow. Food and water. Movement. Respiration. Response to stimuli. Excretion. Reproduction and lifespan. So these are the certain characteristics of living things. So all living things have certain characteristics. And today, let's explain each of these characteristics one by one. The first one is growth. So all living things grow. So here you can see two pictures. Here in the first picture you can see the little cat that is growing. It is growing into a big one. So here animals, they grow in size only in early stages. They grow only in early stages of their lives. Then in the next picture you can see a baby growing into a child. Even plants, it grows from its seed. And the plant grows throughout their lives. So one characteristic of living thing is that living things grow. Plants, animals, human beings, all living things grow. The second one is food and water. All living things need food and water to live, which is very, very important. And plants, animals, human beings all need food to live. All need food and water to live. Plants prepare their own food, right? They prepare food by themselves. And plants are called as autotrophs because they make their own food. And the process by which they prepare food, we call it as photosynthesis. And what about animals? They depend on plants for their food and they are called as heterotrophs. So all living things need food and water to live. The next is movement. All living things move. Do animals move? Yes. Animals move from one place to another in search of food and water, in search of shelter, to escape from their enemies. Animals move. Then what about human beings? Can we all move? Yes, we all can move. We move from one place to another. Then what about plants? Even plants move. They do not move from one place to another, but they move towards light. Plants move towards light. Even there are plants like the touch me not plant. So it closes its leaves when touched. So plants also move. The next is respiration. So what is respiration? Respiration means inhaling and exhaling of air in order to exchange oxygen for carbon dioxide. So it is inhaling and exhaling of air. And all living things breathe. They breathe through their different organs. So here let's see animals like monkeys, birds. How do they breathe? They breathe through their lungs. Even we human beings, we breathe, we take in air through our lungs. We inhale and exhale through our lungs. Then what about frog? We know that frogs live on land as well as in water. So when they are on land, they breathe through their lungs And when they are in water, how do they breathe? They breathe through their moist skin. Then fish. Where do fish live? They live in water. And how do they breathe? They breathe through their gills. They take in air that is dissolved in water through their gills. Then, what about insects? Do insects breathe? Yes. And how do they breathe? They breathe through tiny holes. That is called spiracles, which is present in their body through which they take in air. The next is plants. What about plants? They also take in air. How air enters the plant? Through stomata, which is present in the leaf. The tiny holes that is present in the leaf through which air enters, and that is called stomata. So, all living things breathe. The next characteristic is that all living things respond to stimuli, that is, response to stimuli. So, what is the meaning of stimulus? Anything that causes a response in a living thing, that is called stimulus. For example, plant lean towards light. So, we know that anything that causes response in a living thing, that is called stimulus. Plant lean towards light. So, what is the stimulus here? The stimulus here is light. And what is the response here? The response here is lean. So, that is, light is the stimulus that makes the plant lean towards it. So, all living things respond to stimuli. Stimulus means anything that causes a response in living thing, that is called stimulus. Let me give you another example. So, when we touch a hot object, what happens? Suddenly, we pull away our hand. So, what is the stimulus here? The stimulus here is heat. And what is the response here? Pull away. So, when we touch a hot object, we suddenly pull away our hand from the hot object. The stimulus here is the heat. Response here is, that is, we pull away our hand. So, stimulus means anything that causes a response in a living thing, that is called stimulus. And all living things respond to stimulus. The next is excretion. That is, all living things give out waste products. So, we know that our body works all the time and our body performs different functions. So, as it performs different functions, our body produces waste products, and these waste products need to be removed from our body because it is harmful for our body. So, the process by which the waste products are removed from an organism, that process we call it as excretion. So, all living things give out waste products. That is, in animals, the waste products are removed from their excretory organs. In human beings, the waste products are removed from their excretory organs such as kidney. So, all living things give out waste products, and the process by which the waste products are removed from the body is called as excretion. The next is reproduction. So, all living things reproduce young ones. Plants, animals, human beings all reproduce young ones of their same kind. So, many animals like birds, insects, frogs, they lay eggs from which young ones hatch out. Then, mammals. So, mammals are ones which give birth to young ones that develop inside their mother's body. And the mother feeds the babies with their milk. Even human beings comes under the category of mammals. So, all living things reproduce young ones. Then what about plants? Plants also reproduce. Okay, most plants bear flowers with seeds and the seeds grows into a new plant. When a seed gets air, water, warmth and sunlight and fertile soil, it grows into new plant. That is, plants also reproduce. And what about non-flowering plants? So there are plants that do not bear flowers. There are plants that bear flowers, and there are even plants that do not bear flowers. So how do they reproduce? For example, plants like pines, cedars, they are non-flowering plants, which means they do not bear flowers. But they produce cones with seeds. And these seeds grows into a new plant. And these plants are called as coniferous plants because they bear cones with seeds that grows into new plant. Then there are plants like ferns, algae. So these plants are also non-flowering plants, that is, they do not bear flowers. They have spores that give rise to new plants. So plants also reproduce. So all living things reproduce young ones of their same kind. The next characteristic of living thing is that it has a lifespan. So what is the meaning of lifespan? The time period for which a living thing lives is called as the lifespan. So all living things have a lifespan, and the living thing will die once its lifespan gets over. So trees, it has a lifespan for 100 years, but for a herb, it lives for few months. So every living thing has a lifespan, and the living thing dies once its lifespan gets over. And lifespan, it is the period, it is the time period for which a living thing lives. These are the different characteristics of living things. Now you have an activity in page number 128, that is the projects on. So go through the activity, complete it, and once you are done, you can send in Microsoft Teams. So we are done with the chapter number 9. You can go through the exercise from page number 126 to 127 and try to complete the exercise. So we'll meet in the next class and we'll start a new chapter. Till then, thank you.